Dina! Hey. Oh my God. Jesse.
Hey, Dina.
Oh, hey. You okay?
Nothing a little sleep won't take care of.
We should get inside. Yeah, okay, come on. Easy. How'd you get past Maria?
I had to sneak out.
Huh.
Friends' problems are my problems.
Yeah.
I heard you're sick.
Oh, it's just a stomach thing. Come on. Let's sit you down, huh?
You don't need to do that.
Oh, shut up. So when'd you leave Jackson?
Day after you, there was bad snow and I crossed into Oregon. I've been doing 18-hour stretches for the past 2 weeks trying to catch up.
Well, there's a lot going on there, huh? We know that Jesse's not pregnant. We know that Dina's pregnant and that Jesse's dead. Now, I think Ellie is scrambled here. There's a couple reasons why. One, now Jesse being here is a reminder that it ain't going to just be her and Dina here. Jesse's always going to be a part of the mix. I think for Ellie, adding a third party overcomplicates things. Ellie's never really been in a secure system. Ellie has been a person who has really kind of tied her caregiving, the need for that, to one person. It was Joel. She sort of started to transfer it over to Dina here. So now that knowing that Jesse is around is going to scramble her up, I think it's probably a little bit too overwhelming for her. I also think watching the two of them interact that way is really hard for her because it means now that Dina's attention is split. And maybe, just maybe, if Jesse finds out that Dina's pregnant, maybe he makes an attempt to get back together with her, and maybe Dina goes with her because now she's a parent, not just a partner. So now Ellie has been emotionally bailed on, or maybe she thinks she's been emotionally bailed on and is probably acting on that because that's the safer way to go. Like, if Ellie assumes that everything's going to be fine, I don't think that's really an adaptive strategy. I think Ellie has to assume that this is all going to fall apart. Because her mission is still avenge Joel. It's not marry Dina. So this is just going to be really hard for her because she also has to share a space with the two of them now. So it's not like she can even really get away from this. And more people means more complications. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Dina seems to be excited to see Jesse. I mean, she did lie to him, but I don't know how long she's going to be able to keep it up. We'll find out. I just wanted to throw in a couple thoughts on that.
You with me?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Anyway, this silent treatment. Man, I mean, I forget my own birthday if she didn't remind me when it was.
You should just apologize to her.
I just said... Okay, what's going on?
Nothing. Why?
I can tell when you're off.
Just got some stuff on my mind.
You let me know if you want to talk about it.
Okay.
Tommy's warming up to her. Nice.
Got stragglers.
How many?
Just a handful.
The museum was 3 years ago. This is 2 years ago. Holy shit.
You want to give it a whirl?
Hell yeah. Let's go.
Are you sure?
Well, I'm feeling generous.
Oh, her tattoo's not done yet. That's cool.
See that sign there? Red one? Try hitting that. Good way to draw them out of wherever they're hiding.
Will do. Now, Ellie is slow to warm up because everybody has bailed on her. Joel has made it through all this stuff with her, so her bonding to Joel makes a lot of sense. Tommy, on the other hand, is tricky.
Get that road in your sides.
Again, if you add more people to the mix that have close connections to you, that's more people you can lose. And Ellie has lost way more people than she has held on to. Joel is really the only person who's been consistent. Tommy, I mean, if you recall our conversation with Tommy, Tommy didn't want to do anything with her when Joel initially brought her in, and I think she could probably understand that. But again, the more you diversify your connections, the more of the chance there is that you're going to lose folks. And I actually think that it's probably threatening to Ellie that Tommy can tell what's going on in the same way that I think Joel gets threatened when people know what's going on for him, because that shows a level of depth and intimacy and connection that heightens the anxiety of, I mean, really that connection and the potential of it being lost and not being able to trust it. This is how dismissive attachment happens. I'm not calling Ellie dismissively attached, but she's going to push for distance, which, by the way, I think is why she walks away from Jesse and Dina in the last scene. She's going to go to distance before she's going to go to closeness. One, she's learned that from Joel, and two, I think that's how she attends to her emotional needs. She knows that she's reliable for herself, but she can't necessarily trust other folks.
Try hitting that sign. If you're feeling ambitious, see if you can get it in the middle of that O.
Oh, yeah, Tommy. You don't gotta...
Gotta aim higher. Leave the bullet room to drop.
I see.
Make sure to compensate for the bullet drop.
Jesus, come on, Ryan. There we go.
There you go.
Sounds attracting them.
Well, we are on patrol. Let's clear them out. There you go. Let's see a few more.
Gotcha. I like this thing.
2 left. That's all of them.
Boom, baby. That was one, Tommy.
There's more over this way if you want to keep shooting.
Okay.
Nice little bonding experience here.
Where are they coming from?
Hordes like to move through this area in winter. They always end up leaving behind a few stragglers.
They do the same routes every year?
Like a migration or something.
Huh. What's that about?
Well, when the barometric pressure reaches a certain temperature shit, I don't fucking know. Check out the shed. Looks like they're moving downhill.
Why?
Dead animal. Look up by the truck there. They're munching on that deer there. Guess they're hungry. You're now.
Oh.
3.
Shit. What you think?
Beautiful. Spotting 2 still.
1.
You're really getting it.
Yes.
Sounded like Dr. Mick when he tries to explain anything outside of psychology and therapy, right? I know, we say smart things about mental health and dumb shit about everything else. That's the secondary motto around here. Where is this other one? Oh.
I'm impressed. Looks clear. Bet there's some this way. There's something by the ski lifts? Look way out there. Under those gondolas. By that tower. You see it?
Got it. Jeez, these things are far away.
Take your time.
There we go.
Well done. A handful more. Gonna have to tell Joel about this. 3 left. I hope Joel can turn that stew. The burn on the bottom. He's good at killing shit, but he ain't good at cooking. Well, I'm not seeing any more.
Yeah, me neither.
All right. Let's head in. See if Joel's back.
Sure.
I mean, hunting together is a very primal way of connecting, so makes sense why this feels like something that would be facilitating closeness.
Hand her over.
Hey, thanks for that. It's just what I needed.
Sure. Ladies first. I'm not supposed to say anything, but Joel's worried about you.
There's nothing to worry about.
Well, I'm sure there isn't. But if you don't talk to him, he's gonna think something's wrong.
I talked to him.
Well, you have to do more than hi and bye.
Okay, I will try.
Oh, Tommy. This is a perfect example of a concept we call triangulation, where one person inserts themselves into a dyadic sequence. Now, sometimes dyads pull a third person in, but this is an example of Tommy inserting himself on Joel's behalf, trying to facilitate something between the two of them without Joel specifically having to make the request to do so. Now, this is often theorized as being problematic for a few reasons. The first one is, all this does is reinforce that Joel doesn't have to tell Ellie what he needs or make that kind of effort. And it does the same thing in some ways for Ellie. It's putting a lot of responsibility on her to pander to Joel's process instead of it being something that they work on together, where they have a conversation about their dynamic. Something that Ellie and Joel are perfectly capable of having with each other, should they choose to do so. Now, we can make excuses for Joel and say something like, well, he never really learned to be emotionally close. He doesn't know how to facilitate that kind of conversation with Ellie. It seems unfair to expect him to do that. Yes and no. He's perfectly capable of communicating directly when there's something at stake in terms of survival, and though it's been difficult for him to open up emotionally, he's all in with Ellie at this point. So Tommy inserting himself here is probably doing it because he would tell you he's doing it because he knows Joel, but it may have more to do with the anxiety and sense of helplessness he experiences in watching the two of them deal with it. And if Joel has opened up to him about this in any kind of way, he's trying to take care of Joel by proxy. I generally don't recommend that people triangulate themselves into people's relationships. Let them handle it. The best advice you can give is to say, like, hey, I don't know what's going on between the two of you, but it seems like it'd be a good idea to handle it because it's affecting me. Like if Tommy was to say, you know, it makes it very difficult to communicate with you and Joel or to have you in the same room because you guys haven't figured out your stuff. And that unknown variable is very difficult for me when we're in survival situations. That's perfectly legitimate because that has to do with Tommy. But Tommy involving himself between Ellie and Joel, I don't really know that it's his place to do that. What he might be better off doing, instead of giving her a directive and saying you should go talk to Joel and you should try harder, is to ask her what's keeping that from happening. And if she doesn't want to talk about it, respect that. If she is willing to talk about it, then listen to what she has to say. But giving directives there, I don't know. I'm not generally fond of that. He's making their business his.
At ease, fellas.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Is this? This looks sort of like the building that Joel was killed in. No, I guess
y'all
it's
shooting
not.
out there, right?
Oh, just some stragglers. Ellie got to try out my scope.
How'd you like it?
Yeah, feels good.
I see you've, you haven't gotten around to changing the strings yet.
I didn't know I was supposed to.
Yeah, you'll, we'll get you some new ones.
Well, there's that music store down there. I bet they got guitar stuff. I mean, that area's long overdue for a sweep anyway. I'd keep watch.
What do you say, kiddo?
Sure.
And that's our cue.
Are you sure you don't want to come?
Get on now. He's waiting.
Well, that's one way to do it.
Hey, what's this savage starlight doing here?
Pretty sure that's Joel's.
Daniela and Captain Ryan have been thrown into the arena where the hungry eyes of the travelers watch as they are forced to fight to the death. Will she put aside her feelings for the captain to fight for her own survival? So that's cool, because that shows that Joel's trying to invest in something that she's interested in. There's really no reason why Joel would read that, aside from the fact that Ellie showed she has a vested interest in it.
I'm just making sure I have everything.
So I don't know what's going on between Ellie and Joel. That hasn't really been explicitly stated yet. But I would imagine that as Ellie is getting older and more perceptive and starting to get closer to building an identity as somebody who's in her mid to late teens, probably the most nodal instance of her entire life is probably something she's thinking about more often, which would be when she woke up in the back of the car driving away from a hospital in Utah with no answers for anything. And as you get older and you start thinking about that, you might start asking a question such as, like, what does that mean? That seems odd. Things aren't making sense to me. Joel can tell a very simple story to a child, but as that child gets older and starts thinking more about stuff and starts being able to think a little more abstractly, they start connecting wires, things stop making sense. Which then makes it maybe a little bit harder for her to engage with Joel because she can't quite pull herself away from some nagging suspicion that he's lying to her. She may have been able to accept it for a while, but now that things are more generally safe, she can pay a little bit more attention to their emotional bond. Now all of a sudden the fact that he lied to her matters because they can survive without that lie. It's just a hypothesis.
Sounds just fine to me.
Yeah, it sounds beautiful.
I also like how Tommy's giving me shit for stalling. Now, the idea here would be that, like, Joel and Ellie would mutually talk through whatever's going on between the two of them, rather than it being on one or the other, but...
Yeah?
Alright, Tommy, fine.
Okay, let's go.
All right. On me, kiddo. So, you and Tommy cross anything when you was out?
Just the few we saw from the ridge. You?
You know, found 2 runners in a house. Jesse tells me you're handling your own quite well on the group patrols.
He's even recommending you for paired patrols. Well, I think you're still a bit young for it.
I'm a better shot than almost all of them. And I have more experience than most of the new recruits
Look,
who've...
if you think you're ready, I trust you.
Okay. Thanks.
You just do me a favor and start with the shorter routes for now. You know, see how you handle them.
All right.
Oh, Joel.
Remember those, Savage Starlight comic books that you're into?
Yeah?
Tommy and I found some when we were moving through that school the other day.
Did you like them?
Well, you know what? It's not really my cup of tea, but... Dr. Daniela Starr, I mean, she's pretty...
She's a savage.
Well, what she does to Captain Ryan in that death match... Whew.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely deserved it, but...
That was a nice twist how they escaped, though.
You're funny.
I think Joel needs connection with Ellie more than Ellie needs connection with Joel. Here's the other thing, right? Like, if we were to look at Joel as being Ellie's parent, Joel's the parent of a teenager. Of a teenager in her late teens, who didn't really have the luxury of doing early teens the normal way. So, the thing that a lot of parents struggle with as their children get older and into their teens is their children have an emerging sense of autonomy and identity that is separate from them. Joel put all of his chips into Ellie. All of them. Literally every chip he has is into his connection with Ellie. I think the idea that he could somehow lose her, both physically or emotionally, is unbearable to him, because then he's left with, like, now what? The problem is, as Ellie gets older, she's inherently going to become more self-sufficient. She's not going to need him. In fact, their relationship is going to have to be more on Ellie's terms, and it's going to be built more on mutual interest as opposed to survival. And I think Joel probably knows that, but doesn't quite know how to navigate it, because this is his first time bringing a kid through this. And so Joel is going to want to keep connecting with her, and he's going to keep trying to close the gap, which is interesting because their relationship has now inversed. He's the one trying to facilitate connection, and she's the one trying to push for a little bit of distance. But in this case, we would look at that as being perfectly reasonable, because that's developmentally what we would expect. And we're feeling that tension. We care a lot about Joel and his connection with Ellie, but if they're in a relatively safe environment, we want to facilitate some autonomy for Ellie. We want her to be self-sufficient, start making some of her own decisions. We want Joel to show up in a way where Ellie wants to engage with them, doesn't need to engage with them. And all Joel has ever known is, I facilitate connection with people by them needing me, not by them wanting me, because I don't think I'm a great person. Why would she want to hang out with me? It's a very complicated space for him to be in, especially in this world. It could be Feather, but Ellie hasn't really explicitly talked about it, and for every interaction we've had with Joel, he's held the line on that, so I don't know. I mean, I think she knows he lied, but I don't know if she knows what to do with that information. And I don't know whether it would be helpful to her or devastating to hear Joel acknowledge the reality of it. I'm sure there are parents in chat right now, or who are watching this VOD on YouTube, who can absolutely identify with what I was just talking about. It's the hallmark of being the parent of a teenager. You watch them grow, and you know all the dangers of the real world, and they don't, although in this case Ellie does. You want to protect them from it, but you also have to let them experience life's adversities. Like, you have to let them in on that. It's a very harrowing position for a parent to be in. So Joel's showing a little bit of trust there too when he says, like, hey, if you believe you're ready, I trust you. I mean, that's, I think, his acknowledgement that, like, Ellie has been through more shit than a typical teenager. But his connection to her can't just be a caregiver anymore. It's got to be more.
Music store's up that way. We'll have to leave the horses here.
Yeah. Sounds good. Hey, Shimmer. Don't get into trouble.
There's that music store.
Yeah, I see it.
Nice. Wait, Joel, where'd you go, buddy? Oh, there you are.
You need a boost?
I got it.
I know it's minor. It's a gut shot to Joel, man. like Joel remembers what it was like when she needed him for this kind of stuff. It fulfilled him. Hearing Ellie say, I got it, and constantly assert her autonomy and ability is just, it's going to chip away at Joel. He's going to have a hard time with it. It's going to create anxiety for him. Joel has to figure out who he is separated from Ellie in the same way that Ellie has to figure out who she is separated from Joel. They have been one and the same. They have been a codependent relationship all the way up until this point, and now we're starting to see this separation. And this is partly why people don't get out of codependent relationships, because then they have to define this stuff. And as you can see, it's awkward. It's not easy. That moment where he says you need a boost and she says I got it is like, oh. And now all of a sudden you want Ellie to be like, sure, Joel, boost me up. In the same way we wanted Joel to hand her a gun in Last of Us 2 and take shots from people from a balcony in Boston. The tables have turned completely.
I don't think we can go this way.
What?
Now, this isn't to say that Joel's not going to be proud of Ellie.
Well, damn.
He can admire her competence while still being sad that she's competent. They're not mutually exclusive.
Swim across this.
Okay, so now what?
Well, if you're up for it, we can try cutting through that hotel.
I'm up for it.
Geronimo, welcome. Thank you for the kind words.
Sweet.
Ooh, who'd we get? The Austringer trading card.
Oh, I've been looking for this one. Already worth coming here.
At 14 years old, Maxence Pierre was abandoned by his parents in the middle of Montagne Noire. With the help of a benevolent, intelligent hawk, he made his way to a small lodge where he met a mysterious shaman. Through rigorous training, Max mastered the ability to enter the mind of hawks. Hawks, something, and other birds of prey. As the Austringer, Max serves as a thief for hire and intelligence gatherer for the highest bidder, all the while striving to discover why he was abandoned in the mountains all those years ago. Turns out she doesn't got it. She can cross the creek alone. Yeah, no, they still need... I mean, that's the thing is they still need each other. Like, they're not going to push... See, okay, I'm actually really glad you said that, because here's the thing. When we're talking about autonomy and, like, teenagers and stuff, and in a relationship like this, we're not talking about complete separation. And too many people equate autonomy with the idea that, like, you're never going to do things together. That's not true. There are still going to be times where you need to draw upon your connection and work together, and then there are times where it's beneficial to be apart. The hallmark of secure attachment is that securely attached people understand that there is utility to closeness and distance, and they can navigate that space relative to what the environment demands. And they do that by having an internalized secure base. Joel and Ellie both have that with each other. They're just not used to distance being a manageable form for their relationship. So you're seeing it be a little bit weird for them when they have some autonomy from each other. But the idea that, like, if Ellie was to go somewhere on her own here, that means that she's just bailing on Joel completely is ridiculous. In the same way that needing to rely on each other to get through a mission means that they're never going to have space together. It's not black and white. We need to be able to sit within the tension of the importance of both things. Healthy human relationships have closeness and distance. And so we're feeling that tension in this mission, which is why I like it a lot so far.
Found a rare hero card right in that ditch.
He's still collecting those things.
Don't be jealous.
I'll do my damnedest.
Damn it.
Oh, that might be something. You think you can fit in there?
Well, it's worth a shot.
Careful now.
Yep. I'm through! Hold on!
All right.
So as I mentioned last stream,
See anything?
Looking.
keep in mind the context for which we are engaging in this part of the game. Ellie just went out on her own, and she was found by Jesse. She experiences distance perceived between her and Dina by Jesse being there, experiences emotional distress, and we're all of a sudden introduced to a new memory with Joel. And as I said last time, Joel is Ellie's internalized object / attachment figure. And so we're seeing these very important events at times of emotional distress for Ellie. So I really want to make sure that we keep that context in mind while we're playing through this, because it may help us get some clues into how Ellie's doing in the present, and also to why this instance is particularly important to her. I would have a hard time believing that this is random.
Well, hello.
Howdy.
You impressed?
Nope. You're just too skinny. You need to eat more.
You're welcome.
Hey, chat, what's that another example of? It's another time where nobody says thank you, but the other person says you're welcome. It's a really cool dynamic, I think, between Ellie and Joel. They don't say thank you.
Ellie, here.
Hold on, Joel. I think they do that because thank you is an acknowledgement that they have been taken care of, and both Joel and Ellie value their ability to take care of. So to say you're welcome means I took care of you. To say thank you is an acknowledgement that I was taken care of, and I think for the two of them it's difficult, which is why they don't say it. That may be me reading a lot into it, but if I was going to hypothesize that, I think that's why that's the
This
case.
place is giving me the creeps.
I agree, Ellie.
I think I see a way through, but we got spores. Put your mask on.
Do I have to? It's just us.
What if we run into someone?
Okay, fine.
You gotta be smart about this. You start wearing that mask, you know, and eventually you're gonna slip up in front of someone you shouldn't.
I've never slipped.
You ain't told nobody new, have you? Not Jesse or Dina or...
Of course not.
Okay, good.
Oh, Joel. I love how you veil your self-servingness into veiled caregiving. It ain't about Ellie. It's about Joel. Nobody knows in Jackson what Joel did in Utah. That ain't made it back. He killed everybody in the hotel. And he doesn't necessarily know if Tommy told anybody. Like, other people know that Ellie was supposed to be the cure. So he's probably lied to a bunch of people. And so for Ellie to be out with being immune with everybody around has the potential to out Joel. And Joel would only care about that insofar as it would make Ellie mad at him and put distance between the two of them. That's the only reason that I would ever think that Joel would care about that. Because if Ellie gets mad at him and she bails, he's done. So all of this is self-preservation for Joel, man. It's all self-preservation for Joel. I felt gross when he said that. I don't know if you all experienced that too, but I felt gross about it because it was very clear to me this is not about protecting Ellie. This is about protecting the lie he told her that allows him to continue to be connected with her.
You ever been in here before?
You just patrol the streets. Feeling like a bit of an oversight now.
Maybe.
I think if this was about taking care of Ellie more than himself, Joel would come clean. Joel would tell the truth. He would sit down with her. And he would say, okay, I need to tell you something. It's probably going to hurt. You're probably not going to like it. And if you don't, I understand. I don't necessarily know how you're going to react. But here's the thing. I lied to you. Here's why I lied to you. Here's why I did it. And as a result of that, everybody here thinks that there's no cure. And so you and I may be in danger if they find out, particularly I might be in danger if they find out that I did this. And people just don't have the whole story. Everybody's so on edge from this pandemic that the idea that I would have screwed this over for everybody might piss them off. They may also understand they've gotten to know you, so they may be able to look at it and go, yeah, I probably would have done the same thing. We don't know. But he'd come clean and he'd say, so here's why you need to do this. Here's the real reason why I need you protecting yourself here. But he doesn't do that. He, to this point, is continuing to perpetuate his lie, which tells me that this is all about preservation of him. I mean, by extension, it's caretaking for Ellie because I think he believes only he is capable of taking care of her. He wants that to be the case for sure. But this is all about self-preservation for him and trying to preserve this relationship and keep it as close as he can. But it's on threads now because of what he's created. I know I'm talking a lot here, but there's a lot going on in these little moments here. A lot going on. This is also why I struggle when people talk about how The Last of Us 2 somehow destroyed like Ellie and Joel by killing Joel. We get more insight into Ellie and Joel in this game than you could ever have imagined. Like these two flashbacks are so deep and so wonderful. It's like, what do you mean you don't get character development between Ellie and Joel? We are getting it. The Copper Peak Inn. Ruby, I'm sorry if our patrol overwhelmed you yesterday. We don't run into new people too often. I understand why you might have been nervous to follow us to Jackson, but it really is a nice place. We've got electricity, good crops. Could be something special for you and your family. My boys are different people here. Before Jackson, we were so focused on just staying alive. I didn't like who they were becoming. They started acting like people we were running away from. These days, they're on roofs fixing holes, digging trenches. Hard work, but they come home every night excited about building up this place. They've got community, a reason to be accountable. You used to be a teacher? You could have a classroom full of kids hungry for knowledge. This isn't a fantasy. Please consider stopping by. Let me show you around. Tara.
Looks like it was shot a while back.
When did the last patrol go through here?
I'm not sure.
Is it one of us?
Nah. Only people went missing from Jackson, them teenagers from last year. This one's too old. Probably just roamed in.
It's harrowing to think about the fact that those were once people. Oof.
This way.
Yes, sir.
Come here.
We are on patrol, right?
Okay. Let's take him out.
Ooh, now we get to do this where Joel's our companion. What? Oh shit, Joel went loud. Oh shit. Jesus. Oh God. More?
More infected! Coming for the bathroom! Get ready! To the left!
Oh shit. Oh shit. Come on. Oh, that was intense. All right, we're wrapped up. We're okay. It was a little intense, Joel, but we're good. It's a nice familiar vibe. Survival with Joel, baby. It's familiar. It's comfy. Awful as it is.
Second floor! On the left!
You just left with clickers? We're just left with clickers. We're cool. Oh, come on! Clutch dodge. Nice shot, Joel. My God, dude, are you serious?
place, kiddo.
More infected!
Jesus.
Got one. Got it.
Joel.
Joel, I think we did it.
I think so. Good job, kiddo.
So, what do you say we give up on those strings for today?
Couldn't have said it better myself. I think our only way out is forward now.
Wish we could have just gone in here and maybe, you know, shut ourselves in instead of fighting all them, but all right.
That looks like it might be something.
Following you.
Fucking kidding me? Come here, you bastard. Oh, what's up, buddy? Oh, Jesus! Destructible cover? Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Jesus Christ! Come on, Joel. Oh, jeez. Oh my god, how much life do you have, man? How much life do you have? Oh my god! No!
That was too close.
Sure. But we fucking did it.
Yeah, we sure did.
You good?
You know, other than being really old, ain't nothing a solid night of sleep won't shake off.
I want to get out of here.
Notice how Joel doesn't get mad at Ellie for being in danger anymore?
What are you doing? What if there's like 2 bloaters back there?
It'll be fine. Spores are clear.
The mask is off anyway, Joel, so.
Quite the fight back there, huh?
Not often we get a bloater around these parts.
Yeah. Jesse and Dina are gonna lose their shit when they hear about this.
Let's deal with them two anyway. They're dating, right?
On and off. Why?
I hear the way Jesse talks about you.
No, Jesse and I are just friends.
No, I've got a pretty keen eye for these sort of things.
Not so keen with this one.
We'll see.
Don't hold your breath.
Joel. Well. Oh, we know you're wrong. Now, what's interesting about that is Joel knows a lot about her, and I think it's meaningful for Joel to express that to her. And her not being out to him, which is totally her prerogative. She can come out whenever she wants. And I mean, who knows? You know, maybe being out in this world is fine and perfectly acceptable. Joel's assumption that she likes men makes sense, I guess, from like what has been represented to him. Right? Like I think a lot of us can understand why an adult in Joel's position would think that Ellie is into Jesse, because being straight and straight stuff is more represented than non-straight stuff, since that's a much broader spectrum. And so his assumption of that, I think, is fine, but I think it's something that he's better off asking her than he is making assumptions, because the thing is, you take a risk when you make an assumption about what you know about people. Like, if you try to do that whole, I know you super well, so you don't even have to say it, you better be right. Because if you're wrong, that can hurt a lot. A lot. So, again, his assumption that his sense that Ellie's probably into Jesse, I don't think is problematic. I think he's making it more about his connection with her and ability to read her than he is actually being curious about her. But we have no idea if Joel's homophobic. It could just be that he's assuming she's straight. And if that's what Ellie needs from him right now, maybe that's why she hasn't disclosed it. She could, any reason she has for not disclosing her sexuality to Joel is reasonable. She doesn't owe him that. Fitness center rules: re-rack weights after use. Don't drop weights. Appropriate gym attire. No persons under 16. No food or gum. Wipe down equipment after use. Use gym equipment as designed. In case of emergency, dial 911. For the most part, those rules are A-okay. Always re-rack your weights, man. It's a cool place.
You think you can squeeze through there?
Can I ever?
See what it is?
Yeah. Okay.
Ellie!
Thanks.
Yeah.
Hey, Joel.
Huh?
I think it's them. The couple that ran away last year.
I think you're right.
Jackson is a wonderful place, but we got tired of hearing the stories of people suffering everywhere else. We wanted to save lives. We had good intentions. We didn't make it an hour before running into a horde. Now we're bitten. We've decided we're gonna end our lives instead of turning. Please tell our family and friends that we're sorry. Love, Adam and Sydney. I shot her. I can't take my own life. I'm a fucking coward. only they were immune, right?
Well, let's go get Tommy and we can get these bodies back to Jackson. Yeah.
After you took me out of the Firefly Hospital, you said there were dozens of people like me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they told me.
I've never met another immune person before. Have you?
I could be hiding it. You do.
Do you believe that?
Is now really the time for this?
We traveled across the entire country to bring me to the Fireflies. I had so many questions for them. Why did you pull me out of there while I was still unconscious?
Because I let them run their tests. And when I saw that they were useless, I got us out of there.
How do you know they were useless? Maybe if you just would have given them more time, they could have figured something out.
There was no cure. There's nothing that could help these people or anybody else. I know you wish things were different. I wish things were different. But they ain't. And we need to get these kids back to their families. Is there something else you'd like to rehash?
No.
Good. Come on.
He's dug in. He's dug in. When he says, I wish it was different, I think he's probably the only thing he's really referring to is, I wish that this wasn't a lie I had to perpetuate in order to maintain my connection with you. He knows if he tells her the truth, she's going to be pissed. There was her entire sense of purpose that was both drilled into her and then, I think, adopted by her was, I could save the world by being immune. That was meaningful to her. Even though she was 14, she was aware enough to know that that would have been an unbelievable impact. And here's the problem. She's now getting old enough that she understands, or at the very least is kind of internalizing every death she comes across as being something that could have been avoided had she been able to save them with her immunity. Now, she doesn't know that she could have died, or that she would have died. She has no way of knowing that. She thinks that there was a chance she could have lived through that. Joel hasn't told her that. So it would make sense that every death she sees, she looks at as being a total bummer, but she doesn't have any answers about why she couldn't help these people. And her empathy for them is deep. And so in this time of distress for her, in terms of what it means for her identity, she looks to Joel for comfort, and Joel is lying through his teeth, and she knows it. She knows he's not letting on. He had a good save there, but she knows that he's not totally leading on. And so how unbelievably painful to have somebody who you can rely on for physical support and survival, who you now want to rely on for emotional support because you're generally safe enough to be able to do so, and you just can't do it because that person is lying to you about the single most important event of your entire life. It's about as complex as it gets. It's no accident that this conversation happened right after we just had an event where they were together surviving hordes of infected, because that's what brings them close. Survival is their go-to. That brings them together. That facilitates connection. That reminds them that they're in this together. It's familiar. It's comfortable. It's scary, but it's what they know. So in that moment, it pulls on that emotional vulnerability because now we want a whole relationship. We don't just want one that's predicated on survival and caretaking at the bottom of the hierarchy of needs. We want it at the top of the hierarchy of needs. We want emotional connection. And Joel, in order for Joel to facilitate that, he has to tell her something that's going to put distance between them. And Joel he can't bring himself to do it. It's going to destroy him. He's too far entrenched. He's cost sunk to the max. Now, the reality of it is he could tell her the truth here, and he probably would do himself well to do that, especially when she asks questions and shows that she's ready for it. And instead of doing that, he digs deeper. The older and smarter she gets, the harder it's going to be to keep that up, man. And it's going to progressively lead to what he's afraid of anyway. What he's failing to recognize is that for short-term gain, perpetuating the lie there in the moment, where he gets to maintain a sense of physical closeness to her, he is constantly creating emotional distance. And at some point, that emotional distance between him and Ellie is going to lead to physical distance if he's not careful. And it's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. He knows what he did was wrong. On a lot of levels. On a lot of levels. When caretaking goes bad. Oh, man. Absolute Wombat, thank you for the kind words. I'm glad you popped in to say that. Welcome. What if Ellie approached him with reassurance that she would keep the connection with him no matter what, even if he says what makes her angry? It's gonna... I don't know. I don't know. It would probably help. But I don't know that she could promise that. And I also think it would be disappointing to her that she has to reassure him of that in order to get him to tell her the truth. I think that degrades a sense of trust in him in the long term, as if him lying to her doesn't already do that. But Joel lives in the here and now at this point. Joel knows that he's got Ellie available to him now. And he's going to cling desperately to that without thinking about the long-term consequences. And it's, I mean, again, to put it into context, this is fascinating because Joel is the one who is kind of more childlike here. He's the one that's more egocentric. He's the one that's thinking about himself. He's the one that's looking for some form of assurance that this person's not going to leave him if he tells the truth. That's what kids go through. That's what Ellie dealt with him in Last of Us 1. And now Joel is the one in the childlike position. And Ellie's holding all the cards in terms of thinking about humanity and the global implications of that moment and how awful it is to not know anything about it. Like, their roles have completely flipped. And that's devastating for Joel, man. But to ask her to, for her to promise, I'll be fine no matter what, I think is ridiculous. Now, I mean, I'm a believer that you should never ask questions that you're not prepared to hear the answer, the truthful answer to. But they haven't established that kind of rapport in their relationship. I understand being respectful and possibly giving the families of the teens the opportunity to grieve, but isn't bringing a dead, infected body back not a good idea? I have no idea. It's an interesting choice, in my opinion. I think if you bring the letters back and you explain what you saw, that'd probably be good enough. But Joel is so desperate to not hurt Ellie that he's hurting her. He's literally hurting her to not hurt her. He put himself in a horrible bind. He's just been biding time, man. Anyway, very powerful scene. Very, very powerful scene. I didn't think about that. Ellie has that flashback at the same time that she's now doubting her connection with Dina. Right? Ellie's feeling alone, and she's drawing upon these memories of Joel, but we got one that was really lovely. Now we're getting one that's like, Joel's a person, but boy, is he a person that acts in his own self-interest.
Jesse's passed out. Hey, let me do that.
He's a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you tell him?
Wasn't the right time. There you go.
What about this? Anything worthwhile?
Actually, yeah.
Abby?
No. This girl, Nora, her unit was assigned to this hospital. They were collecting supplies or something.
This hospital?
Yeah. What, you're gonna go now?
Yeah, we have a lead.
Like, at least just wait for Jessie to rest up.
She could be gone by then.
Ellie.
We know her location. Maybe Tommy does too. What?
Nothing.
Good. Can you come help me with the door, please?
Yep.
Right. If I follow Route 5, that should take me to the hospital. Follow Route 5. Track down Nora. Get her to tell me where Abby is. Easy.
Alrighty. Well, Ellie's on a mission, man. I think Ellie probably is thinking about Dina now as being pregnant and needing caretaking, so she's thinking, no, you know what, Jesse will stay with you. I don't think it's that explicit. Like, I don't think Ellie's sitting here going like, I'm going to take care of Dina, so Jesse needs to stay. I think at this point, Ellie's starting to realize, like, I can only rely on me. I'm the one who cares the most about this. You and Jesse are going to have a baby to care about, and all of a sudden, my mission's not going to be as important to you. I can't rely on you for what I need for this mission, so I'm going to do it myself. Like, that to me is the thought process here. Ellie believes in her ability to do it herself. She's also not wrong. But you know,
Gotta get through.
in the same way that Joel is willing to, I mean, really kind of destroy himself to maintain a connection and mission with Ellie. I mean, Ellie's kind of doing the same thing. Like, there's some transgenerational patterns here. You're going ham to survive, like to do this on her own without help from others, because that's what her conviction's telling her to do. She's acting, I mean, to some extent, maybe as selfishly as Joel did. So why hold Ellie to a different standard? Transgenerational means it's a pattern that's passed on through generation, often through what is learned and how a person is interacted with through their development. A lot of times you'll see that because children learn certain processes from their parents, they play them out because that's what they know. So selfishness and acting on one's conviction, no matter the cost, is something that Ellie has seen Joel do. She sees that in some ways as the ultimate form of caretaking. Go after whatever you want with reckless abandon, no matter the consequences. And she's doing that right now. It's what Joel's done. Randy Stiles. Once he was Dr. Uckman's research partner, working late nights to develop all manner of technology for the betterment of mankind, until one day he just vanished. Months later, reports surfaced of Stiles showing up in numerous places all over the world. A brief appearance in Mexico, a short stint in Japan, a materialization in Australian outback. With each visitation, he helps people in need and vanishes again. Some speculate Stiles obtained this ability through an accident with Dr. Uckman's experimental quantum teleporter, though he vehemently denies those claims. After the flashbacks where she grows distant with Joel, she pushes Dina away and then offers some common sense of not going alone. Yeah, Ellie's feeling... Ellie's internal object is Joel. It's not Dina.
Okay, progress.
As far as Ellie's concerned, she can rely on herself and she can rely on what she has inside of her mentally of Joel. Those two things are enough to get her through anything because that is what got her through anything. And the other thing to remember is that Joel died when they were separated, which Ellie probably blames herself for, if she's anything like Joel, because they have a symbiotic caretaking relationship at this point. The one time they're not together, Joel dies. Every other time they were together, they survived. So I'm sure there's some guilt associated with this, where not only is Ellie trying to avenge Joel's death, she's trying to close some loose ends for herself. I couldn't save him, but at least I could avenge him because I let him down. It's my fault he died. Wouldn't surprise me at all if that's what's going through her mind. Exactly, Sierra. A lot of misplaced accountability. And this is going to make a ton of noise if I go in here. Shit. We're good. We just got clickers now. Not too worried about this. Just clickers. Clickers really aren't as scary as runners just because you can stay silent and they're generally like not gonna get you. Oh shit. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. Well, here's hoping that was worth it. Anything? Oh, we got some pills. Good. Oh, we got a lot of supplements. Build a silencer. That feels important. Arrows are probably not a bad idea. There we go. Stealth kills are faster and keep a lower profile. I like that. Good, 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 good. So, as we're kind of exploring here, I think there's another point that I want to make about Joel and Ellie. And I mean, obviously this is speculation on my part, but Ellie, I think the thing that's hardest for Ellie here is that there's a lot of ambiguity and she's not getting answers from Joel. And there is a part of me that thinks that as Ellie gets older, she could actually understand Joel's reasoning for doing what he did, even if she doesn't agree with it. Like, yes, did it strip some level of autonomy from her? Sure. But she was 14. Adults make decisions for their children all the time. And I know that this is a different context. It's an apocalypse, yada, yada. But a lot of people get hung up on the fact that Ellie didn't get to choose. We never let 14-year-olds make that kind of decision on their own. Adults make that decision for them. So for her, it's like, I want to know why. Just don't lie to me. Give me the answer. And to some extent, I think Ellie could probably appreciate that if Joel said, I just love you so much, I couldn't watch you die. I just couldn't do it. There was not 100% chance that it was going to save humanity. There was 100% chance you were going to die. I didn't like those odds. I couldn't bring myself to do it. I killed everybody in a rage because I just could not stand the idea of losing you. And I think that would have meant the world to her, and to some extent, because that's somebody literally going to the moon and back in order to protect her and care for her. She might have been mad at him, but at least she could understand why she's mad at him, and she could process it and maybe even process it with him. The fact that Joel doesn't tell her and he keeps lying is the worst possible thing that he can do, because it doesn't allow Ellie to have any closure on the situation, and the only closure and story she has is one that she knows isn't fully true, if true at all. And that, to me, is the biggest tragedy about how Joel handles this. He doesn't have the foresight to understand that telling the truth may hurt in the short term, but it's going to build a longer term connection with her, and she is at a point in her life where she can understand that. It's really a bummer to me that he didn't say it. And if I'm his therapist, I'm telling him exactly what I just said to all of you. Dude, you've got to tell her. You've got to tell her the truth, and you've got to be ready for her to be mad, and you have to be able to look at her and say, it's okay if you're mad. I'm here when you want to talk about it. I understand if this means you're going to need a lot of space from me. And I really do think that Ellie would come back, because she needs Joel too. She'd flex some autonomy. She'd go off on her own. She'd get super pissy. She'd be mad at him for a while, even if it was a year or two. And I'm sure she'd come back and be like, look, I get it. What's done is done. I can't change it. You've been reliable. You've been here. Let's figure this out.
Feel her love. The fuck?
14-year-olds choosing is how you get Romeo and Juliet. You're not wrong. Jesse's here. This is good. He can help protect Dina. It felt good having him around to deal with the WLF. Maybe he can help us find those people more quickly. I don't want to hear anything about turning back. Feel her love. Why the fuck? Who the fuck are these people? Why did they do this? Yeah, Emo, I struggle with that perspective because Ellie's a kid. If Ellie was a 24-year-old, then I would be a lot more willing to get on board with that. She's 14. I had a life-altering surgery at 15. I was the one given the choice as the doctor, and my father agreed the procedure wouldn't happen without my consent. Would you say that it took more courage on their part to give me the last say? I mean, I don't know that I'm the one to make the call on that, Floaty. I mean, I think it's cool that they would bring your opinion into consideration. Joel didn't have that luxury. The Fireflies knocked Ellie out. They didn't tell her what was going on. The Fireflies could have told Ellie what was going on, but they didn't. So I think the difference in your situation and Ellie's was at least the doctors told you what was going on, right? Like you knew what was happening. So you could make somewhat of an informed decision even if it was you as a minor making that decision, right? Like we have more parties involved. Ellie was knocked out at this point. Ellie didn't have agency. At that point, Ellie's knocked out. Joel knows that she can die. Joel makes the decision. And parents make bad decisions on behalf of their kids all the time. But I mean, it's understandable while Joel did what he did. But I mean, you all know this. I don't agree with Joel's decision to do that. I think it was a bad decision, but I get why he did it. Alright, here we go. Damn it. I always forget to hold the right. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Really? Are you serious? Come on. Also, you will notice, chat, that we are on a noose. A little dark. There we go.
All right.
Hey, another trading card. Shift. At first glance, Gail Price looks and acts like a typical teenager, mood swings and all, but those mood swings power her ability to increase the velocity of matter. When happy, she directs this power outwards, increasing the speed of her allies and throwing her enemies off balance. When sad, she directs this power inward, allowing her to outrun her enemies and making the rest of the world feel sluggish. Though powerful, she's an unpredictable ally and an easy target for mind manipulation tricks of Motivator. Simon, I hope you never read this note. I hope I can crumple it up, burn it when you return for us. It's been, I don't even know how many hours since you left. I went out to look for you, and these hooded people spotted me. They shouted at me, called me a sinner, and then started shooting. I ran back in and barricaded the door. All I can hear is the rain, but I'm worried they're still out there. Should I run? Should I stay? I feel completely paralyzed. I'm sorry I got so sick. I'm sorry I let you go to the hospital by yourself. I'm sorry I didn't stay hidden like you told me. If anything happens to me, I want you to know how much I love you. Please come back. I'm so scared. Paige.
Man.
I appreciate that the game doesn't let you choose either. Like, Joel makes this decision and it's a no turning back point for him. We're like the voice in his head asking why without being able to be heard. Yeah. I also think we're playing out Joel and Ellie's story. Right? Like, this isn't really our story. This is their story. We're experiencing it. Which I think is neat. One of the scariest things in this new world must have been getting separated. Oh, yeah. You kidding me? Distress and then the people you love aren't anywhere near you? Oh. Yeah, it'd be brutal, man. I don't know why I'm going the long way here. I know already that she can jump out of that window and be fine, but it just feels weird to subject her to a 2-story drop when I know that there's a ladder over here.
There we go.
This is the guy that hung himself. All right, let's keep moving. I mean, it's so peaceful when you don't have infected running after you. Like, this place is just...
Denied. Let's see what they got in here.
These situations are always fun. Let's keep it quiet. Or, you know, push buckets of bottles around. And knock monitors over. I'm hoping we find another safe and crack it in under 10 minutes. I know, yesterday was embarrassing, man. And there are so many supplies in here. Why don't we just... let's just make some stuff, huh?
Man, this city's still filled with supplies.
Got some ammo. I mean, you love to see this, really. Now, I have a hard time believing that these tomatoes would look this nice if this wasn't a place that actively has people coming in here to tend them. So, something tells me that I may not... I need to be careful here. What?
We're not going back, understand?
Going back to what? What? I'm not here to do anything with you. Holy shit! Yo! Whoa! Whoa, whoa, whoa! Can we just talk about this? No? Okie dokie. Guys. Oh my god. Going back to what? I'm not taking you anywhere. Oh, hey.
Jesus. What the fuck, people?
Well, that was something. Absolutely just got baited. I mean, I wasn't expecting to get attacked. Like, have we ever been attacked at a workbench before? No. Not that I know of. Waiting to get attacked again. Jesus, you'd have thought we'd have heard those guys coming in, but apparently not. Okie dokie. Well, that was fun. Let's do it again sometime. Not. I mean, it just seemed like this place was obviously maintained.
Be more careful.
I would agree, Ellie. Another locked door. You like that? You see that? The impact of me hitting that window was so strong I knocked that lamp over. Sonic booms, baby. Who needs a lockpick when you can shatter glass? Are you kidding me? Look how... Oh, we gotta save. Start the clock. Wait, start the clock after I read this. Star sign. Once a humble museum curator, Zhang Li was poring over Han Dynasty scrolls when he found himself transformed by the spirits of the great Chinese emperors. Now, depending on the hour of the day, he takes an elemental power from each sign from the Chinese zodiac. Terrakinesis, Pyrokinesis, Aquakinesis, Ferrokinesis, and Arborkinesis. He also takes on both the positive and negative personality traits of each sign, which could be an advantage or disadvantage depending on the situation. Best hope you catch him at a good time of day. Alright, start the clock. October 2013. Health screening on the 4th. 30th anniversary on the 8th. Evacuate on the 24th. Let me guess. Anniversary. But it's their anniversary, so 30 years back from 2013 would be 1983.
Oh, shit.
Neat. See you later, Jareth. Did it in less than 10 minutes. Feels good. Anybody else in here that wants to ambush me? Sure hope not. I just like that Naughty Dog makes it worth it to explore the environment. Which, I mean, God, I'd hope so, given that they put just so much effort into this. Like, if you didn't have stuff in every nook and cranny, it would just be, you'd be like, nah. That's right, we don't talk about that diamond. Oh, look, another locked door. That's fun.
Need to get in there. All right.
Man, I'm kind of disappointed that Ambush Group didn't have you, like, discover the scared kids of those guys hiding someplace. That would have been mean. It would have been very mean. What have we here? Only licensed personnel to drive the forklift. Well, guess we're not driving a forklift. I just heard something. The hell was that? What's up, Sylvan? Good to see you, friend. Also, I want to use this as an opportunity to just say, if you are live with me right now on Twitch, thank you for watching my stream. Thank you for being here, whether you're chatting, lurking, watching the VOD, whatever capacity you're here. Thank you for that. If you are currently watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for supporting what I do on YouTube. I hope these playthroughs have been a lot of fun for you. It means a lot to me that you watch these. No matter what way you watch my stuff, one of the coolest things you can do to help my channel out is share my stuff. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, all that fun stuff. It goes a long way to helping my channel out. So thank you so much for being part of this. Okay, so we got to figure out. Okay, so that's on a decline. So hopefully. Oh, roll down the hill, dumpster. I gotta turn it sideways. Alright, this looks like a decline, right? Or is that flat? No, it's flat. Oh, wait a minute. Here. Put it up here. Go, 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 go. Oh no, dude! Oh, the quick time events in this game, when you hit the button, it's such a delay that you just don't think you hit it, so then you let go and you hit it again. God damn it. Doing it again. I'm just gonna trust.
Yes. Actually worked.
Hell yeah.
That's pretty smart, Ellie.
Got it done.
Okay. There's the hospital.
That's a long way away.
Thought I'd be closer.
Me too, Ellie. Holy crap. Hello, hello. I just wanted to pop in and say I'm binge watching your vids on YouTube. Wanted to say I'm glad that you're doing this, talking about mental health and stuff on Twitch. Well, thank you, Arrow Runner, for popping in and saying hello. I hope you're enjoying the VODs. I appreciate you watching them. That's a long drop. I suppose we probably go down the scaffolding. Okay. Anything else for me down here? Doesn't look like it. Welcome to the Comic Expo 2013. Neat. Good night, Scott.
Ugh, stinks in here.
I like to think that that's like a dig at people who go to comic expos. I don't know. The National was founded in 1879 in Seattle, Washington by Wilbur Jesse, a prominent paper manufacturer. The paper was originally sold for 1 cent on a single two-sided sheet. By 1892, it had doubled its circulation, and by 1910, it was sold in every major city in the Pacific Northwest. It became a financial success and was soon seen as the gold standard in investigative journalism. Jesse created the paper in the hopes of giving the people of Seattle information that was free of political or theological bias. It's impossible to do. His sole loyalty was to the growth of his community, and he believed an educated population was the key to the city's long-term success. Under his leadership, the paper's circulation grew to 60,000 issues sold on weekdays and 75,000 on Sundays. The paper has been home to 3 Pulitzer Prize winners and 10 finalists and continues to be one of the leading sources of reporting in the United States. So, fun fact about young me, a philosophical question that I entertained for a long time as a kid and could never wrap my head around until I finally got to adulthood and it clicked for me was, I never understood how it was possible for me living in Indiana to have access to something like the New York Times or the Chicago Tribune even, or like, you know, USA Today. Because I was always like, how the hell does it get from New York to Indiana the same morning? How does that work? That seems crazy. And then I realized, oh yeah, you can print a paper from anywhere. Like all I gotta do is send the copy, and then you just print it locally. But I never really realized that. I was always thinking like, oh yeah, it's the New York Times. It obviously comes from New York, right? All right, we're pretty full on ammo here, so. No!
Shit. Fuck me.
What was that?
Great. Stalkers. Fuck. Need to find a way out of here.
Oh, come on, you bastards.
Shit. How do I get outside?
Keeping our back against the wall at all times. So that they can't come from behind us. There's one. Come on. Ellie's hunting. I'm gonna get you. I don't think we're all the way through. I think there might still be one. Yep. Ha! The stalker's been stalked. Nice and easy. Another one to the right. Okay, it was already in here. Just gonna keep our eyes open, look for any movement. I hear one to the right. And to the left. There you are. There's one. Right behind the table. I see you. I see you. I'm gonna get you. This looks like a way out. Oof. All right, let's get out of here. Alrighty.
Where's the hospital? Much farther.
That looks like a jump I might have to make. What's this transcript thing? It's closed captions. You can turn it off if you want. You don't have to have it on. But it's for the hard of hearing. I like to have the stream be as accessible as possible. But yeah, you can turn it off. If anybody ever wants to have the closed captions turned off, you just you hover your mouse over the screen, and you'll see the extension. Oh, good.
Okay. Head down to the street.
Good, I hear more things. Clean machete? I'll take it. Now the question is, are these runners? I think... Or are these stalkers again? Well, that is most certainly a... Oh no! I thought I had my shotgun out! Oh! That was a little intense. I hear something that sounds
Here we
big.
go.
Oh, God! Oh, my God, go! Ooh, get off of me! Oh, shit! Get the fuck off of me. No! Oh God, oh God, oh God! Ah! Oh man, I'm confident in my swimming, but not this confident. Ooh! I don't need another rebar incident. Well, so much for exploring that building.
Fuck Seattle.
Amen to that, Ellie. Jeez. All right, everybody good? Everybody okay? Oh, gee! You son of a bitch! Fucking God! Asshole! Oh, that got my blood pumping, man. Oh my God. Well, if you weren't awake, you probably are now. Quick on that trigger, though? Yeah, well, you gotta be, you know? I can't. I ain't gonna survive if I'm not quick on the trigger. No, I'm not gonna swap my freaking machete for a piece of wood. Are you kidding me? Alright, the real question is... Oh, alright. It was a waste of a shell. It was. It was. I acknowledge that it was a waste of a shell as well. But you know what? I needed the satisfaction of knowing that that guy was donezo for what he did to me. Also, walking on a mossy pipe would be terrifying. Thing must be so slippery. Alright, down we go. Who needs ladders?
Get me the hell out of here.
I already got to tally up how many times per game in the Discord so we can get the entire total. How many times I what? Drop F-bombs? What have we here?
Alright. Where the hell did I end up?
Oh, actually, that would be kind of cool, Tiora. I'd be down for that. Track the swear jar by... Count the swear jars per game. You do a little over-under action before the game starts. I mean, this one's pretty high up there. I think I did a pretty good job not dropping F-bombs during Mass Effect. I've definitely dropped a lot during The Last of Us, especially Last of Us 2. Getting dark, man.
Okay. You are here. And the hospital's there. Cut through the park.
Cut through the park. Okie Cut through the creepy park. Presented by ACWP SGMJW to the city of Seattle. Aw, that's kind of them. That light over there. I swear I heard a whistle. I swear to God I heard one. I also hear people swinging in trees. Who are you? Who the hell are these people? At least they signal where they are. Also, DC, I time people out when they say things like, ooh, this part's so good and stuff like that, because that in and of itself can be spoilery to chat because it suggests that something's coming. So that's why. It's all good. TR is just being clear with the boundary, that's all. You're not giving us attitude, it's all good. I just always make that clear at the beginning of stream. You might not have been here to hear it, so it's all good. I just, whenever people say like, oh, this is my favorite part, or oh, here's something, this is going to be so good. Sometimes people in chat then, it sort of takes the fun out of the surprise. It's all good. We're all good. We're chilling. Oh, shit. How does she know where I am? I don't know who these people are, but they shot an arrow at me, so I'm not going to be...
Fuck off.
Thank you for the sub, Luke. I'm not taking any chances here. Oh, shit.
Jesus. These must be the scars. Doesn't matter. Hospital. You better not have strung Nora up.
You like how we're hiding in bushes that I have tattooed on my arm? I do. Nice little touch.
Okay. Here's the road to the hospital.
It's not enough damage to justify me using a med kit there. What did I add to my journal? Lake Hill Seattle Hospital. I think this is it. Watch for big red signs, scars. Fuck those people. Stay focused on why you're here. All right, I can get down with that. My machete's got more than that axe does, so I think I'm gonna keep the machete. Or maybe it's the same. Garden Suites. Now, I can't imagine I'm in here by myself. Or maybe I am. I don't know. It just... That was a lot of people. They had to have come from somewhere. Ooh, there's a candy bar in there. Good way to know if there was going to be anybody in here. I'm ready to go loud if I have to. Another one. Doppelganger. A strange being of unknown origin, this alabaster-skinned humanoid with yellow eyes is capable of assuming the shape of anyone you need him or her to be. The only catch, they need to make physical contact with the person you wish them to impersonate. The resemblance is near perfect, though if you look closely, you'll see their eyes give a glint of yellow after the transformation. If you ever see a friend wearing sunglasses at an inappropriate time, you best be on your guard. Alright, so we're doing okay on supplies. Let's see, is there anything I can fill up on here? I got a silencer, I got all the arrows I could possibly want. I think we're good. Alright, so we don't really need to go too hard supply shopping. Other than get some bottle stuff, because silencers are ridiculously helpful, it turns out. And bolts are good, because I like to upgrade my gun. Hey, nice. Alright, so we gotta figure out how to get in here. Seems like if you break this window, you could get in there. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Hope you don't need these pills. We get a little letter. If anyone finds this note, my wife Paige is waiting for me back in the old conference center at Pike and Convention.
That sucks.
Right across from the brew pub. Please take her this medicine. She's pregnant and could die without it. I thought I could make it, but I've lost too much blood. I was sprinting through the woods, heard some whistles, and then an arrow pierced my side. I ducked into the place. Think I'm safe. Can't get any worse, right? Starting to feel cold. Stole all this medication from the hospital. Should have grabbed some blood, too. Bad joke. Never mind. She'll tell you I'm always making bad jokes. If you find Paige, tell her I went peacefully. Tell her I hope they live happy lives. Tell her I love her. And tell her if it's a boy, don't name the kid after me. Go with the name we picked. Simon Vickers. Damn, Simon. I'm sorry, brother. Brother. Rough, man. Reading that shit is not easy. I bet Simon was a good dude. Yeah, it would seem that this would not be an ideal time to get pregnant.
Here we go.
Fedra Hospital Disaster Recovery Center. This thing has got to have been picked clean by this point, right?
I think I can fit.
Maybe we'll get jumped. Hope we don't get jumped. We seem to always get jumped when we go through cracks. Okay. Oh, no.
Don't do this.
Damn it.
I was explaining something. I'll tell you about it. Just let me. Listen.
They are nested with sin.
I didn't want to.
Breathe.
Holy shit! No! No! No!
Now he is free.
Now he is free.
Search for stragglers. May she guide us.
So now we know it wasn't the WLF that did that shit.
Did you hear what Lily did?
I did. Shame.
Totally forgot to put my silencer on. That's fun.
She's going into the grass!
Where's the wolf? Cast a wide net. Track her down.
It's interesting how, because there's really only two groups in this place, the WLF assumes we're scars,
Just like that.
and the scars assume we're WLF. Right? Like, if we don't know who you are explicitly, you are an enemy. Which would make sense from a survival standpoint. Anybody in the out crowd
Luca!
is dangerous.
Keep him back there!
Because you're an unknown variable. We don't know that you share our ideology. We don't know that you are safe. All right. Well. That goes for me as well, man. I have no reason to believe that these people are safe. They've opened fire on me twice already. Don't really seem to see reason. yeah, if you're not one of us, you're against us, which makes sense in a scenario like this. Unfortunately, we've kind of gotten into a place in modern times where, despite the fact that we don't really need to be that way, we look at ideology that way. We polarize against folks that we see as being on the other end of some sort of spectrum or in a group that we don't fully understand. And when we see people we don't know and don't understand, we project our insecurities on them. And we often polarize against those insecurities when we don't really need to do that. It's adaptive in a world like this. This keeps you alive in a world like this. But in a relatively cushy world like we're in right now, not quite as necessary. There's room for nuance. Right, like they're gonna operate off of whatever representation they have of what the enemy is. They're gonna look at any little detail that I show as being a problem. So they're just protecting themselves, but I'm protecting myself. So at the end of the day, if I know they're gonna shoot at me, if I can get the jump on them, I'm gonna do it. You know, it's like if you're in war, man. If you hesitate thinking that the other guy's gonna show you mercy, they think you're gonna pull the trigger just as much as you think they are. Oh, great. More whistles. What up, lady? Oh!
Fucker.
Oh, we've gotten a lot more brutal. These are Seraphites that we are currently dealing with. Exactly, Luke. Exactly. Another hanging person. Good lord. Okay, so basically what happened, it seems, is there was Fedra, right? Fedra was the federal government doing what they could to protect citizens. Fedra was not appreciated by some section of folks, and so they created the WLF. The WLF turned into the very thing that they were trying to destroy by overrunning Fedra. So then there was another group that came about that said, we don't like the WLF, so why don't we send a message to the WLF? And then apparently they became just as brutal as the WLF. How lovely is that? Son of a bitch, man. Come on, what happened to your fancy bows, huh? You too big for those now? Come here.
Fuck.
Time to go hunting.
You came from that way.
Oh, how is that not a headshot? Oh. What did you... Oh, shit! What did you think was gonna happen when you guys attacked me? What did you think? You think I play games?
You better run.
Jesus. That it? These people are fucking nuts. Tommy, hope you're doing better than I am.
Aren't we all a little bit nuts right now, Ellie? Like, seriously? Doing what we gotta do to survive. Seems like we are clear. Here's the hospital. I don't hear anybody. What skills does a therapist have that can be useful in the event of a societal collapse? We understand, well, marriage and family therapists specifically, we understand systemic dynamics, so we can certainly help people understand how one thing is potentially going to have a consequence elsewhere that people may not particularly understand. But I think we offer utility in the form of like a person to listen to about whatever's going on for you, where our job is not to get stressed and make our anxiety about the thing you're talking about your problem. So it's really a space for you to process as best you can with a person who knows how to help you do that effectively. I mean, you can't underestimate the power of human connection and having space to talk about what's going on for you in a time like this. I mean, I understand that like talking things out is maybe not going to get you food, it's not going to kill an enemy, but it certainly can provide you some cognitive respite, which I think all of us need to some extent. All right, here we are. Hospital time.
You motherfucker! Here! Here!
Got you, fucker. Jesus Christ.
Wasn't even that hard.
Hospital.
I mean, I'm taking gun 100% of the time. If that guy's gonna run at me with a heavy ass sledgehammer, come on. He'd have been better off hitting me with that when he was holding me. He was a dumbass for throwing me like that. I'm armed to the teeth. All I gotta do is run away and shoot him. He's got no range. But doesn't matter. He's dead. He can't take my advice now. I mostly want ammo right now.
Let's try this.
Think I can make this jump? I think I can make this jump. What have we here? Organic Chemistry, Concepts to Practice, 11th edition. What does that give me? A new upgrade bench, Explosives. Alright. Seems neat. Boy, Seattle sure is pretty. I know I've said that a bunch, but damn, man.
Better still be there, Nora.
Down we go. Would a snake or spider bite mean death in this world? I would think that it could. I don't really know how you get access to anti-venom. It's hard enough to get in modern days, let alone during the apocalypse like this. Yeah, I gotta believe that anything dumb like that could be curtains. Like, you really can't let your guard down at all. I mean, look at Joel, right? Like, we survived for so much shit because we were guard up all the time, never let it down, absolute vigilance at any given point in time, and like the one time Joel's like, all right, fine, we'll help this person that we don't know, he gets killed. Like, that's how brutal this world we live in is here. So yeah, something small like that could be the end. Once the solar system's most notorious pirate, Neptunian bot, Mandar, became known for hijacking resupply ships, threatening the nascent colonies on Europa and Enceladus with starvation. Pursued by the Future Alliance into the asteroid belt, she flew her ship too close to a mysterious wormhole and found herself back in the 21st century. Though she initially enjoyed her newfound superiority, she quickly became frustrated by the limitations of our 21st century technology and sought out Spark. Her offer? Her knowledge of the future in exchange for a way back to her own time. Nice. Tom. I keep hearing gunfire at odd hours. We have no one to protect us from this crazy cult. We can't wait for the WLF to find us. We have to trek to their base and join them. I've started stashing supplies in the safe, heading out to scout the best route. We'll be back with a plan ASAP. Be careful, MK. P.S. Almost forgot. The code is 385523. Hey. Look at that. I didn't even have to find the safe. 385523. Alright, nothing neat like a third strap. Ooh, hey, another workbench. Wonder if I'll get attacked at this one. See, what I love here... I just want to point out something really cool psychologically that Naughty Dog did to us. By making it so that that workbench we got attacked at back when we were in that one building. Up until this point in this series, working at a workbench was like, oh, this is fine. Like, our schema for those was, these things are safe, you build your gun, it's all good. Nothing bad's gonna happen. And then we have an experience that was in huge violation of that expectation, and our schema was shattered. And now we have been forced to accommodate because of the traumatic experience we had at the workbench. And as a result now, when we walk up to workbenches, we have been introduced to the possibility that we could get attacked. Now, we don't know that we will, but if you let trauma take hold here, then every workbench all of a sudden becomes really scary, and maybe we even avoid them because we're terrified of getting attacked or pushing the plot forward. So now even something as safe as working at a workbench has been taken from us, and we have to feel the harsh, cold reality of this world. I just think that's super cool that we've been forced to accommodate in that way. What's up, Lemon? Not enough. Right, but what we have to do is we have to help rewire our brain to realize that the more realistic expectation here is that there's a good chance that it's not going to happen. We don't want to get overly obsessive. Grizzly Bit, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate your kind words very much, friend. Athena, no, I wouldn't say that there's a specific field to go find. I would say that you want to find somebody who indicates that they have some interest in working with trauma and maybe even has like extra training in working with trauma and working with like medical issues. There are therapists out there that do that. What type of therapist you seek out doesn't matter so much as finding somebody who has that level of like expertise for you. Yeah, I mean, you might want to go, like, if you want to narrow it down, you might go MSW, LPC, or LMFT. Those would be a good place to start.
Did you find her yet?
What?
Well, no one was looking. We're searching the area.
Not happy.
No shit.
This would be so loud swimming like this. There's no way this person doesn't hear me.
Don't make a fucking sound. Hands up.
Is he?
Do you know a girl named Nora?
Sure, yeah.
Where is she?
In the hospital.
Where in the hospital?
Yeah, they're clearing out the upper floors. She's somewhere in there.
I mean, Ellie has one weak moment there where she thinks, okay, cool, this girl's been helpful and she's just a real person, and the girl turns around and tries to jab her. I mean, we've been primed. We can't trust anybody here. We're all out. We're an outsider to them. I mean, we're just freaking going through, just murdering the shit out of people that don't see this coming. And they're all just trying to defend themselves. I'm an unknown quantity. Like, I can't just come in here and go, hi, I'm Ellie. I'm looking for one specific person who killed a person who's very important to me. My goal is to kill that person and the people that were in the room with them. Would you mind showing me to them? Would we do that? Would we have done that if Abby showed up? If Abby showed up in Jackson, Wyoming and said, "Hi, I'm Abby, and I want to kill Joel. And do you know who he is? Do you know who Joel is? I'm not trying to kill you guys. I want to kill Joel. And I want to kill this, like, Tommy guy that he was rolling around with." No, like, we would do the same thing. We'd be like, "You fucking kidding me? No way. You're done." That's who we are right now. Like, we're doing the same thing to these people that Abby did to us. We're just somehow more okay with it because we have the emotional connection to Joel. Friggin' wild, man. I don't know what game she was playing on her Vita. Hotline Miami? Nice.
Word is we're almost wrapped up.
Good. I got my girl waiting for me at the fob.
You shitting me? They put you with Joe again?
Hey, we get the job done.
I bet you do. No, this is not fair.
I'm telling you, man. Data soldier. It makes these shifts so much easier.
Sure. I'll keep that in mind.
Fuck. Sounds like scars are getting closer.
Hope that's our guys executing those freaks.
Hey, did you hear why we're all getting called up to the fob?
I heard that Isaac wants us to retake all of downtown.
I heard we might take the fight to them.
Oh, no way. Not after what went down last time. Even Isaac isn't that crazy.
It's what I heard.
All right, how are we gonna do this?
Ambush! Think it came from that direction!
She hid in the grass!
Oh God, we got dogs. Oh man, I'm so sorry.
She ducked over there!
Where'd she go? Fan out. Check the whole courtyard. Track her down.
Got something, Bear? What you smell, boy? Keep going, boy. Quiet. Find anything? Trail's gone cold.
You and Bear find anything? Don't see anything.
Come on, boy.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to keep the dog alive. I want to keep the dog alive if I can. I just don't know if it's in the cards, chat. You're welcome, chat. You're welcome. We're gonna do it Joel and Ellie style. You don't even have to say thank you. I'm just gonna say you're welcome. Now, it would stand to reason that there might be people up here. Supply list. Musts. Alcohol swabs, iodine swabs, woven gauze, muslin bandages with tape, latex gloves, face masks, morphine, and naloxone, bandages, safety pins, gel burn dressing, and blankets. 1F available. Intercautious infusion kits, hemostatic dressing, whatever you can find, blood pressure cuff, antibiotics, penicillin, levofloxacin, or floxacin, amoxicillin, whatever you can find. Stretchers, think we got them all. Trauma shears, rapid application splints, open chest injury seals, whatever's left. Tube airway. Be sure to dig into the corners of the second floor. There are still rooms we haven't opened that might have things worth taking. Don't go near the lower levels. Get another silencer going. Light off. Nice and easy. Ellie's dialogue with herself is a lot more aggressive here. Could she be doing it in an attempt to block out the reality of what she's doing? Potentially. It's plausible for sure. I mean, she's doing what she's got to do at this point. I mean, she probably knows what she's doing is brutal, but she's too far in.
Would still be in herself.
When the fuck was Abby here?
I'm not stupid. You're gonna tell us where she went.
When Isaac talks to us about this, I'm gonna say what I think happened.
Knock yourself out. I've got work to do.
Nora! I'm not going down for her, man.
Don't worry.
Oh, come on, guys. Keep talking. If I find out where Abby is, I could just leave. All right, take it easy, Ellie. Silencer on. Silencer's on. Doesn't look like we can get into that room. Go nice and easy here.
Don't scream. Put that shit down. You remember me? Yeah. You remember me.
What do you want?
Abby was here earlier. Where'd she go?
I don't know. You shoot me. The sound will have every soldier come running.
You'll still be dead. Tell me where she went and I'll think about letting you go.
We could have killed you.
Maybe you should have. Or maybe you should have stayed the fuck out of Jackson. Where's Abby?
You still hear his screams?
What?
I hear them every night. Yeah. Yeah, that little bitch got what he deserved.
You fucking...
Help! Trespasser! Somebody, please!
Damn it, Ellie.
Nora! You can't escape this! Damn it!
Come on.
Shoot her!
Shit. Go, go, go. Man, they really had it out for Joel, huh?
No, no, no! Got you!
Come on.
Come on!
Throw down your weapon!
No, wait.
Shoot her!
Back up!
Put your gun down!
You can walk away from this, okay? I can...
Shut the fuck up!
Gun down! Hands up!
Get back!
You have nowhere to go. Wait! Get downstairs! Take her out!
Mask on!
Oh, she had to breathe in spores.
How we're doing on?
Doesn't matter. Find the trespasser. Watch it! Watch it!
All right, we don't have much time. get out of here.
Okay. Where'd you go?
This chick's about to find out that I'm immune. That or she already knows that. I hear her breathing. Where are you?
Hi, Nora.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Where's Abby?
You're breathing spores. You're her.
You Firefly?
There are no fireflies anymore.
Where's Abby?
I'm fucking dead anyway. Why would I tell you anything?
Because I can make it quick. Or I can make it so much worse.
Think about what he did. How many people are dead because of him?
It's your last chance.
I'm not giving up, my friend.
Take a breath for a second. We're not ending on this. I just want to process it really quick. There's a lot of symbolism I think that's here, and there's a lot going on. First of all, the red light thing I think is pretty obvious, right? Like, kind of has a "don't do this" vibe. Stop. Their reasoning for wanting to kill Joel makes sense. It does not justify that they killed Joel, but it's understandable why they would want to. Thing is, the deed's done. It's done. Joel ruined the whole thing. Everybody can be mad at Joel. It would be understandable why everybody is mad at Joel, but killing him doesn't change what he did. It just doesn't change what he did. Arguably the same thing is the case here for Ellie. None of this is going to bring Joel back. Now, I want to share a little bit of a read I have on this scene that I don't see talked about very often. And it might sound a little bit weird, but I don't think her hitting Nora there has anything to do with Nora or Abby. I think she's hitting Joel. I think the reason she goes into that blind of a rage and because she goes that irrational is because Joel let her down by dying. Joel let her down to some extent by doing what he did. Joel has left her with the guilt of what it means to have seen so many die because of the decision he made. Joel is the reason she's sitting there even contemplating whacking this woman with a pipe and why she's killed as many people as she's killed on her way through Seattle. She's mad at Joel, man. And when Nora says to her, do you know how many people could be alive if he'd have just done his job? I think there's a part of Ellie that agrees. As evidenced by the flashback we saw. Ellie's never been able... Joel's dead. Ellie can't take her anger out on him. But in that moment, that anger, that strong of an anger towards somebody she doesn't know, who is peripheral to the person who killed Joel, that's Joel. She's hitting Joel. Saying, you son of a bitch. Why'd you put me in this position? Why did you leave me and then put me in this position without taking accountability for her own actions? But again, that's my read on why that's so intense for her. It's a lot, man. Also, if Ellie really wanted to make Nora miserable, she would have let her turn. There is still a part of Ellie that recognizes how awful this infection is, and she says, you know, I could make it quicker, or I could let you suffer. Letting her suffer would be to leave, would be to walk out, let Nora sit with that. She still hits Nora with that pipe. So again, this isn't about Nora. Not one bit. Intense stuff.
It's me.
Ellie. Are you okay?
Christ. Is that your blood?
She's hiding out in this aquarium.
Okay. Come on. Let's get you cleaned up. Arms up.
I made her talk. It's okay. I don't want to lose you.
Two things. Ellie's shaky, right? She has kind of like 1,000-yard stare. She's clearly not fully there. This is to piggyback a little bit on the point about why that was Joel. I mean, besides the fact that she's in shock, clearly, yes. People often think that they have limits that they will never cross. And Ellie's learning that that's not true. And she's learning that Joel's memory and what happened to him is the impetus for her breaking past whatever boundaries she would have ever thought she had. And that's enough to really cut deep. Joel's the only person, besides maybe Dina, that Ellie would go to the ends of the earth to make this decision about. And so I think there is a ridiculously huge form of dissonance happening for Ellie, which is why she's so shaken. Which is that on one hand, she's doing things she probably never imagined she would do, all in the name of Joel. And that's really stressing her out. She's having to look at herself differently. But simultaneously, she is having about as close to of an experience of empathy to Joel's moment in the hospital as she's ever going to have. Which is, I'm willing to throw away everything I believe and all the boundaries I ever thought I had for this one person. So she's getting drawn closer to him from an empathy standpoint, which is sure to feel good in some way because it shows just how much he loved and adored her and was willing to go to the ends of the earth for her. But then, on top of all of it, it brings her closer to just how horrible of a person Joel was in doing that. And now she has to ask herself, am I that horrible? Is the person that I feel this sense of closeness to as this horrible? Reconciling that in this world with no attachment figure outside of Dina, who's already got a chaotic relationship going on, is enough to send somebody into the ultimate dissociative spiral. And if the only thing that Ellie has to hold on to give her some sense of sanity and control amidst all of that cognitive chaos is find Abby, that tunnel vision makes complete sense from a psychological standpoint. So if you look at this as Ellie being overly brutal, it makes sense. As weird as that is to say. It is unbelievably complicated what Ellie's experiencing. Unbelievably complicated. Does it justify the violence? No, but it makes sense. It explains it in a very profound way. That's a level of dissonance I wouldn't wish on anybody in the world. The idea that you would empathize with somebody and that you would go through something that makes you feel intensely close to this person while simultaneously doing something that blows way past any boundaries you thought you had and gives you empathy for how awful that person was in the process. That's years, man. That's years of talking through this shit in order to help a person reconcile that and put it together and create meaning of what are you going to do with that? Because Joel's not here to tell you what is making good on his memory. He can't ever tell you that. You have to guess. And you guessing at that is probably not going to be true because he's not here to tell you that. So then you got to kind of draw from what you want. And what you want is for Joel to come back. But no amount of killing these people is going to bring Joel back. Honestly, I think at this point, if Ellie gets to a point where she kills Abby, she ain't going to feel any better because she's going to realize Joel's gone. My sense of purpose through all this chaos is done. And who did I become in the process? And I don't even have the person that I care about in terms of my caregiver to help me make sense of that and put it all together for myself in a way that allows me to live in as good of a way as I can. Like, the chips are freaking stacked against Ellie in the biggest way possible here. The chips are stacked against everybody in this world. This world is all misery. It's all survival and doing the best you can to find the little nuggets. Like, what is really at the end of this path? So at that point, you're just going. You're just on autopilot. You're just doing your thing because this is all I got. This is all I got.